Hello again, and welcome back to Granny Dorothy Visits. Today's topic is handling the ifs in life. And the first reading from Louise Hay's little book, Everyday Positive Thinking. And the quote just happens to be from Dr. Wayne Dyer. Intention is a force in the universe, and everything and everyone is connected to this invisible force. And the second and last reading for today is from Norman Vincent Peale's book, The Power of Positive Thinking, although I think it's the middle one this time, The Positive Principle for Today. Handling the ifs in life. It is very important to be on top of life's circumstances. Always in control for human existence can and often does follow an uncertain and variable pattern. It can turn on you, trip you up, hit you hard, throw the book at you, unless it is managed and controlled. Nevertheless, existence on earth is, I believe, intended to be for us rather than against us. If everyone followed the purposes of the Creator, the general thrust of life would be in our favor, though not without some hard going at times. For the great architect of the universe did not eliminate pain and struggle and difficulty. He knew these to be for our good in the development of a strong person, and that objective just had to be basic to his purpose in creating man and woman in the first place. No person can become strong without struggle, without the effort of pitting himself against trouble and hardship. And to meet and deal with life creatively, we will always need to be alert and thoughtful and to think in a positive manner, constantly rallying personality forces into effective and desirable actions. We must be aware of and prepared for life's variable, unpredictable, and uncertain nature, caused basically by that same mix of qualities in ourselves. I happened to notice one day that the word life, L-I-F-E, significantly has an I-F, an if, as its center. The central two letters of the four-letter word representing existence form a concept of uncertainty, which is designated by if. And the potency of if is every day underscored in the language of many persons. If I do this, if I do that, if this happens, if that happens, if only I had not said or done that. So it goes on and still on, the repetitive if element. Can it be a fact that half of life is an if, even as it constitutes half of the word which stands for existence on earth? If so, or whatever proportion the if factor represents, it is all the more reason why we must assume a firmer control of those uncertainties, the ifs, and make them into certainties, thereby contributing to, rather than detracting from, our best potential. Strange things happen. On a speaking trip in the West, I met Jeff, a 35-year-old man who had been, as he put it, in the grip of a failure pattern for some time. It appeared that hardly anything was going right, and that fact was getting him to such an extent that he was admitting defeat and failure. He had developed into a negative if-only man, constantly bemoaning. If only I had not done that stupid thing. If that guy had only given me a break. One dismissal if after another. His career, he had come to admit, had become dependent upon whims and variables, and he had practically no sense of control over the circumstances, to his mind all negative, which seemed to gang up on him. Some time before our meeting, Jeff was sitting glum and desultory in his motel room, listening to a late-night television show originating in New York, and on which I happened to appear as a guest. The interviewer took as the subject of our discussion the question of how people who are not making it on their jobs can get a new grip on themselves and start motivation going. I developed the concept that one can impel his personality powers into action by intense desire, intense belief, and intense prayer, using the word intense to differentiate these factors from the usual bland attitudes of so many. I recall quoting from James Russell Lowell, "I that still pray at morning and at eve, thrice in my life perhaps have truly prayed, thrice stirred below my conscious self, have felt that perfect disenthrallment which is God." We had a stimulating give and take on the TV show about the meaning of that concept and agreed that by thrusting beneath the surface of the mind and into the area of faith by intense and in-depth desire, a person could reorganize personality forces that had been floundering and reducing him to ineffectiveness. 2,000 miles away, Jeff told me he was listening to this TV show, which certainly had no reputation of being dedicated generally to God or prayer talk. Suddenly, he had a remarkable experience of deep insight. In a flash, he became aware that in his intense prayer faith formula lay the correction of his failure pattern. Acting at once on the suggestions which were made on the air, he began a prayer faith program, continuing it daily. He found God like never before, like he never thought possible. One result was that his negative "if" emphasis began to give way to the positive "how" principle. Rather than futilely mumbling ifs, he began to stress, how can it be done? How can I do better? How can I really get going? Result? A dramatic reorganization of his personality forces. Moreover, along with this personality reconstruction, Jeff became infused with such strong motivation that discouragements gradually lessened, and over a period of time, he developed a new sense of control over difficulties. This man definitely learned the secret of keeping it going. He got aboard the positive principle and went on successfully from there. That's lovely to hear encouraging stories of people who have been able to make big changes in their life, by turning to the positive principle, turning to our God, changing the negative to the positive, not if this or if that, but, make it happen. Make it happen. That's what I wish for you. Have a happy life, a fulfilled life. And I send you my love. Mwah. Until next Monday. Bye for now.